I moved to Memphis, and as soon as I graduated from high school, I couldn't afford to go to college, so I went to an employment agency to help me find a job. The employment agency sent me to a cotton company, and they hired me, and I stayed there for more than 30 years, eventually becoming a general partner. The reason that the company needed another employee is because of crime. And up until the mid-'80s, early '90s, every bale of cotton that was stored in a public warehouse had a paper receipt issued on it. This paper receipt is what we call a bearer bond, meaning that whoever possesses that receipt had rightful title to the bale of cotton. These receipts had the word negotiable on them. And we had, in those days, we had office boys, we can't call them that now, but we had office boys that shuttled these receipts back and forth between the bank and the cotton companies. And so the office boy for the company that hired me came up with a scheme where he and a buddy of his were going to steal some receipts and sell them to somebody. Somehow or another, the FBI got onto it, and they set up a sting just across the street from the cotton exchange in an alley. And the FBI agent posed as the buyer of the receipts. As soon as the office boy handed the receipts over to the FBI agent, they arrested him and he went to jail. And that's how I happened to get into the cotton business, simply because of crime. I almost left it because in those days you had a long apprenticeship. You had to work with a classer for several years and watch his techniques and gradually learn how to class cotton. Then you were made a cotton classer, but you couldn't ship cotton. Somebody higher up had to do that. And so I moved through the whole chain, and I didn't do it by being smart. I did it by working hard. We used to put in very long hours because we were highly seasonal. We'd come in at 6 in the morning and maybe not leave until midnight, and working hard all day long. But then it tapered off in the spring and summertime, and we didn't do anything. We'd come in and play cards until noon and go home. But we weren't let go because whenever you needed your cotton people, you needed them now. You didn't have time to train them. And so eventually I moved up to be a general partner with the company because I did it all. It was a real hands-on business in those days. We had to handle the warehouse receipts that I mentioned. We had to handle the samples, manually class every bale, sometimes several times. Now that's done electronically. Every bale of U.S. cotton is classed by what we call high-volume instruments. Nobody manually classes cotton much anymore. So it was a very, very hands-on business. We used to have to ship cotton by rail. All the textile mills had rail spurs. We no longer do that. We ship it by truck now. Cotton going overseas, it was shipped what we call break bulk, which is putting the cotton in the hull of a ship. Now we ship it by container, and it's a very efficient way of moving cotton around. We can get cotton actually from Memphis to China in about 28 days. And in 1994, I was asked to help develop the curriculum for the International Cotton Institute. I said, okay, I'll try it out the first year. Well, when you go through a big program like that, not having a clue what you're doing in the first place, you see a lot of room for improvement. So I stayed on the second year. The third year, I think they just caught me at a weak moment. And after the third year, I figured that most of the hard work had been done. And so I've stuck with it. We are preparing for our 16th consecutive session now.